Guys, it is called a super stall with a deep spin. Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and I'm the former pilot of ATR-42 and 72, so I've flown exactly the same aircraft type. Now I want to tell you about the crash which happened in Brazil with ATR-72 500. At first, analyzing the videos which are presented in the internet, we may clearly see that it's the super stall with a deep dive spin. It is kind of the rare event with civilian commercial airplanes, because there are many of the systems installed on the airplane to help you to avoid that situation. But somehow we see that it happened. So what we know so far, that the catastrophic aviation accident happened on August 9, 2024. The airplane operator is Voepass Aereas. Yes, I told the name incorrectly because it's in Portuguese. The registration of the airplane is obviously the Brazilian one, PS Victor Papa Bravo. We're gonna speak later about this particular airplane type and its history. So the flight was to Sao Paulo Guarulhos, Brazil. There were 58 passengers on board, 4 crew members. It's the usual configuration. I mean, for the crew, as minimum for this airplane, you should have 2 pilots and 2 flight attendants. But the airplane itself is able to accommodate 70 of the passengers, so potentially there could be 12 more people on board. According to the eyewitnesses' videos which were seen, the airplane somehow went to the deep dive spin and crashed into the residential area very close to the residential buildings. However, the local authorities reported that no people on ground have been injured. It's good. The investigation immediately was opened. Guys, I read this information from the Aviation Herald. You may check it out yourself and all of those images, photos. It is the source where I usually get this detailed information. Sorry guys, I don't have the ad blocker, sorry for the advertisements on this page. By the time of the crash, the weather was more or less okay, just a few of the clouds. The visibility was good. The temperature was plus 17 degrees centigrade. If we go to this particular flight on flight radar 24, yes, you can see it's the same airplane. You may see that the system stopped recording at 4,100 feet. With a ground speed of 26 knots, it's really nothing. 26 nautical miles per hour. It is very slow for any kind of the airplane. And if we put the airplane in this point, you see that here is more or less normal speed, 130 knots. But even 130 in this configuration at this high altitude is kind of low. It is only okay if you have the strong headwind, so your ground speed will be lower than the airspeed. And if we go a little behind, you'll see 220 knots. Well, it's the normal speed for the airplane. I mean, during the descent. During the cruise, it's usually 180, 190, the indicated airspeed. Your true airspeed is a little higher, and the ground speed, well, it depends on the wind. So somehow the airplane started to lose the airspeed and altitude very dramatically. Also, the trajectory of the airplane is kind of weird here. I'm unable to unlock the vertical speed parameter, but based on the information I see, the altitude drop was really dramatic. The flight radar 24 officially said that the last 60 seconds of the recorder, the vertical speed was something between 8,000 and 24,000 feet per minute. It is enormously high. It's like flying brick going down to the ground, as you saw in the video of the airplane falling right at the beginning. Guys, hopefully you can see this image over here. Here we have the altitude. The airplane was cruising at 17,000 feet. Everything was normal out there. And here we have the time, so past 16:21, somehow the airplane went down, I would say very fast, then gained the altitude even more, overshooting 17,000 feet, and then dropped down dramatically like a brick. And judging on those images, I don't think that someone survived that crash. By the time I'm recording this video, no official information was provided by the local authorities about the number of casualties. But definitely the airplane struck the local building. Hopefully no one was inside, as was reported by authorities. Again, no people on the ground have been injured. We have it in report. Hopefully it's correct. Some Brazilian wrote, guys, a plane just crashed in my neighborhood 15 minutes ago. We have it on Reddit. The tale says the registration Papa Sierra Victor Papa Bravo. The airplane definitely impacted the house, and the couple that lives in the house is okay. The house was lightly hit but destroyed their garage and cars, so the airplane hit mostly the technical part of the building, which is good in this case. The ambulances are taking some neighbors to the hospital due to shock. Indeed, it is a shocking event even as for me. The eyewitness say that I don't live on the same street but was able to see the spin and the ground hit. I was able to get to the scene to try to help as I am former scout master with first aid training, but the firemen got us out of the place as soon as they arrived. The firemen opened up the side of the airplane, but there were no survivors. Indeed, a very tragic story. My condolences to those who lost their loved ones. About the airplane itself, it's the ATR-72-500, which was made in 2010. At first it started its operation in Vila Air, Albania, then moved to Italy, Vila Air Europe, then again to Vila Air, Albania. I think it's the same group of the airlines, so basically there are any changes. After it went to operate in Norway, Nordic aviation capital, and after that to Indonesia. By the way, my friends, I was flying in Indonesia also, but not in this airline, Pelita Air Service. I was flying for Garuda Indonesia Airlines for 2 of the years, and I was flying ATR-72-600, not 500 over there. However, in Uter, Ukraine, I was flying this specific aircraft type, ATR-72-500, and we received brand new airplanes from Toulouse factory. The airplane was flying in Indonesia for a long 7 years, and after it in 2022 went to Brazil. So it was in this airline just for a couple of years. And now I want to speculate a little at this stage, since I know the aircraft type and I know the history of this aircraft as well. So if we go 30 years back, there was the case happened to the ATR-72-200 by the time. Yes, I know that Brazilian ATR is -500, but 200 has just few of the differences. Speaking about the airframe, mainly it's the same as well as most of the systems of the airplane. So what happened in that case? The airplane was flying with the flaps 15 during the hold. Because of that, the airplane pitch was lower than usual, so the airplane was flying with the nose down, and the airflow was coming to the wind under some certain angle, and because of the icing conditions, the ice built up on top of the wing in unusual place near the ailerons behind the anti-ice boats. So after a while, the airplane went to the uncontrolled spin because basically of the icing of the wing, and pilots weren't able to enroll the airplane to the normal flight. The airplane lost control and smashed into the ground. Everything looked kind of similar to the event which happened today in Brazil. The icing system of the ATR-72 and 42 is very simple. Basically, on the leading edge you have those rubber boots which sometimes inflate, causing the ice just to crack and wash out from the wing with the help of the airflow. And I would say that I have never ever any issues with this system. Not just ATR is equipped with that, many of the airplanes as well. So here you can see also the issue probably on Twin Otter airplane. Pardon if I'm wrong, so the ice here built up behind the rubber birds. It's not good. So to avoid this situation from happening, ATR expanded this area on the newer aircraft types like ATR-72-500. It has the wider area of those rubber birds. Also, after the American Eagle Flight 484 accident, the ATR upgraded its manuals for pilots, saying that pilots shouldn't hold with flaps 15 in icing conditions, just flaps 0 configuration, to allow the ice to build up at the proper place, for it to be later removed by the icing system. However, in today's Brazilian aviation accident, investigators should also look to the possible scenario with the ice built up at the wrong place, and whether the crew actions led to that, because the temperature by the time of the accident was just 17 degrees centigrade, and the higher you climb, the colder is the temperature. And I believe that at 17,000 feet, judging on the weather, there could be clouds, so the ice could form on airplane. The other aviation accident with ATR involvement happened in Taiwan, where the airplane actually stalled, and it was the combination with the failure of the feathering, of the propeller feathering, and the wrong action of the pilots who just shut down the wrong engine. So the airplane lost the power, stalled with one wing on the highway, and later on went to the water. Many passengers lost their lives. So here again we have the stall condition, which was not caused by the icing, but mainly by the wrong actions of the crew. So this version with a loss of power also should be looked through, but as far as I saw in the video, yes, there was some sort of the helicopter rotating on the background, but it seems like I heard the airplane engines working. Right, and what kind of the systems does the airplane has to help the pilot to identify the stall condition? We're speaking here about the ATR-72. Well, here's the ATR-72-600, but the system works the same in 500 version too. So then your airspeed reduces and you approach to the alpha critical, so to the critical angles of attack. You have this warning. The control column starts to shake from both of the sides. You have the visual warning on display that the aircraft is stalling. What you need to do is to perform the stall avoidance maneuver. Basically, you just lower the airplane nose, reducing the alpha, reducing the angle of attack, and then you add some thrust in jets and power on ATRs, on turboprop airplanes. By doing so, you're just getting out from this critical situation, but obviously to do this maneuver, you need to have altitude to lower the nose somewhere. And in today's case with ATR, well, pilots had lots of the altitude available, flight level 170, 17,000 feet. I think that you may recover from absolutely everything. Alright, but what happens if pilot doesn't react on stick shaker and continue to lose the airspeed approaching to alpha critical? Well, ATR installed the stick pusher, which will push the nose down of the airplane even without the pilot. Let's see how it works. So you see the nose down even without the pilot. He didn't push it, it was automatically down by the airplane. So in any case, airplane will try to save you. For this reason, as for me, it's very strange that the airplane went to the super stall and was spinning in a deep dive. Well, first of all, because those systems are installed on this airplane, and secondary, you can get out from this super stall spin on ATR. It is not Tupolev 154, which is unable to do it. Here you can do it. The superstall is critical on the airplanes with the T-type of the empennage. So ATR also has the T-type of the empennage. It means that the stabilizer and the elevator is located on the top of the vertical stabilizer on the top of the fin. So at the critical angles of attack, the horizontal stabilizer could be shadowed by the wing. Here the air will be just disturbed and you'll not be able to control the airplane pitch, and usually it goes up, up, up. After it rapidly goes nose down and starts to spin. But again, you can get out from this position on ATR-72. So to avoid this situation, you have the stick pusher, which will push the nose down well before reaching this terrible situation. One more variant which might cause the airplane to spin rapidly is the low pitch of the propeller, low pitch of the blades. So you have the propeller with many of the blades and you have the engine. You can control the engine power and also the position of those blades. In flight, you always have the turn angle of the blade. It never goes to the low pitch as, for example, on the ground. If somehow propeller blades go to the low pitch in flight, well, they will create enormous drag. Yeah, hopefully you can see this toy airplane. So if you have the positive power on one engine and negative on the other one, so enormous drag, you'll have this movement on the yaw and immediately your wing goes forward, so the speed here increases more and you'll have this roll moment. So in that condition, it's very easy to stall the airplane. So if you have this condition in flight, ATR says that you need to reduce the power to idle and then basically to shut down the engine. Because if you do it, you also feather the propeller, so you'll put the blades in front of the airflow, reducing the drag to a minimum. And you should do it very, very fast. On the simulator, I got those exercises, and definitely the airplane rolls very fast, so you need to counteract and do the memory items as soon as possible. But again guys, only investigation might tell us what happened to that particular airplane. They will for sure recover the cockpit voice recorder and the flight data recorder, so-called black boxes from the airplane. It is very important to dig down to every case like that to avoid mistakes in the future. For now, yes, I may say that it's just a terrible event, and again my condolences to those who lost their loved ones. Brazil is a great country. It's a pity that it happened out there. Well, it shouldn't be happening anywhere, really. It's all I want to say today. Safe flights.